practice. All right, so right here, we're going to put a circle. We're going to leave some room from the top. I'm going to draw a light circle because I've got to have a hat that's got to go on this. And I got to put a body underneath it. It just roughly has to look like a circle. I'm not going to draw it dark because I know that I got to erase a whole bunch. So that circle is about the size, almost the size of a silver dollar or 50-cent piece, bigger than a quarter. So if it's not bigger than a quarter, draw it bigger than a quarter. I'm going to bring that a little closer so it's easier to see. I wish I could draw them darker, but it just messes the whole drawing up if I do. I know for some of you a circle is the challenge. Like I say, as long as it's close, as long as you didn't draw an oval going this way or a jelly bean head or something, we should be okay. Now, I'm going to take my hand, I want to be able to move my wrist this way, and then when I get to this side, I'm going to move it this way. I'm just going where my wrist naturally, right here, where it naturally wants to bend to make this easy. If you're left-handed, of course, it's going to go this way. If you're right-handed, it'll be this way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start on the side, and then I'm going to bring it down to the middle. So I'm going to come out a little bit from the circle, bring it down, light, down to the middle. Okay, now it looks like a big backwards 9. Or if I turn it this way, what have I drawn, basically? Backward 6, okay? So, a backwards 9. If I'd have started with the other side, it would have been a 9 facing forward. Now I'm going to come off this side, same height where I came off over here. So I'm going to go right here, go straight over. I've turned it upside down so that my wrist can bend again naturally. I'm keeping this light because what that's going to eventually be is the beard, but I'm going to need to put hair on it and more of a jagged line, so I don't want to draw it dark right now because I'm going to change the edge. If I draw dark, it's super hard to erase. Probably should have drawn it even bigger than I did, but we're all right. Get that thing out of the way. We all good? Does anybody need a second before I move on? All right, looks like we're all good. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here towards the bottom, and I'm going to put a little curved line right here and a little curved line right there. It's just a slight bow in that line. They're about the same size, just slightly curved. So like if I turned it this way, it'd look like a pair of eyes and a dog with a big nose. Or Rudolph, maybe, with his eyes closed. So if it's easier for you to do it that way, do it that way. It doesn't really matter which way you do it as long as you get 2 curved lines on it. Man, I could turn that into a dog or a Rudolph so easy. It's tempting to do, but we're going to stick with our plan. Now I'm going to bring a vertical line with a slight curve and bring it right back up to that shape that we drew before. Just like that. Again, if I turn it upside down, eyes again. Just wow, just so cool. Just like that, changes everything. We're just blocking stuff in right now. I'm going to come, so where this meets where the beard is actually going to be, I'm going to put a little curved line like this and just stop. And then I'm going to put a little curved line like this right here and just stop. Okay? Bring that up close so you can see it's just a little curved line is all it is. We don't want that to be too far from here to here. If you bring this way down here, it's going to look really strange. It's not real far from right here to right here. Then I'm going to turn my page sideways, and I'm going to leave a little tag line, and I'm going to bring that back. So this is like a J-hook coming around. See the little tag line, little overlap right there? It's just tiny, right there, just a slight overlap, and bring up. If I turn it this way, it's like the Coke C, you know, the short on top and the long tail on the C on the Coke. But it's easier to turn your paper sideways and do these than it is to try to do it like this. At least it's easier for me to go like this, which is natural for my hand. This is not natural for my hand. So I do it on one side. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to start a little tag line like there, bring it around. I'm going to keep it kind of light, make sure I got it about the size I want it, because I want this and this to be the same size. Go ahead and darken that in because it is the size I want and the shape I want. So both of these should look kind of like mirror images of each other. If you got one twice the size or twice as skinny or twice as long, make some adjustments, please. Use this friendly side of your pencil, Mr. Eraser, and fix it if you need to. Right now, if we left it just like it is, we have a bald little gnome. But we're not going to leave it like that. Okay, next thing we're going to block in is the trim that goes around the hat. We're going to just go from this corner to this corner where the beard comes in right here and put a little curved line right across here, just like that. So I'm just connecting this top end of the beard with that top end of the beard. Does it have to be a perfect curve? Mine's not. Doesn't really matter. It's just where the bottom edge of the trim to his hat's going to go. Then I'm going to come out a little further down here onto the beard and do a parallel line that goes all the way across. Bring it across, go out a little past my last line and bring it back to where the beard is. So that right here and right here, there's a slight little overlap right there. Then erase out the top of the circle. That's why we didn't want to draw it dark, because it needs to go away, and it's right in the middle of a white part. That's why we wanted to make sure we didn't draw it too dark. And it's a little trickier when you're doing things like Santa Claus and wintertime scenes, because if we get our lines too dark and we're doing lots of white things, that's a problem. I love this character, though. This is a cool little character. I could draw this all day long and be happy. Just change expressions on it. Everybody get the trim on the top? Was that a yes or uh-huh? All right, I'm going to put a nose right here. I'm going to come down from the trim and up from here. And I'm just coming down from the trim a little ways, and I'm going to put a big oval nose. Just like that. It could either look like a nose or a kid sitting there going, oh. It could be a mouth. Look like a South Park character with its mouth open. You all better not be watching South Park. Say we're just blocking stuff in. We are not doing detail work right now. We'll do that in a minute. Hopefully everybody's got a nose, because that nose determines where a mustache is going to go. And we're going to do that letter S shape that we do quite a bit in here. Let's start a little above center. Center would be like right here. I'm going to come a little above it. Come up, come down, come over to the beard. Come up, come down, come over to the beard. Just like that. Now before I move any further, this lower part of the circle here, let's make it go away. It served its purpose. The only part of that circle that should even be there anymore is just this part right here. And it's going to give us kind of the edge of the beard and the edge of the hair right there. And that's all that's left of that. We're going to go to the middle of the nose, right here in the middle. And we're going to bring a line that comes out and swoops up to the end of our mustache. And then another line that comes out here and swoops up to the end of our mustache over there. Okay. Now he's got a big, old, thick, full mustache. And when we do the actual Santa Claus, it'll be similar. There's a lot of transference of knowledge, similarities, because we're doing two characters that are kind of alike. Okay, I'm going to draw a very light, this is super light, guys, a very light U shape. I'm going to come right up the side of this. I'm going to come up above the head. I'm going to come over here, come up very light, because I'm going to change the edges of this. Want it to get the height and the width. That's all I'm trying to do right here. So now he looks like he's a little cop in England or something with a little bobby hat. But draw that really light, because we're going to put some wrinkles and stuff on that here in a second. Okay, about halfway up between here and the nose, which would be right in here, I'm going to put a circle right here that does not touch the body. That's going to be part of his hand, so make sure you don't draw it too tiny, because remember, we're drawing a hand, not just a single finger, so it needs to be a little bit bigger, okay? Although perspective-wise, it looks like his nose is bigger than his hand. We're going to say the hand's further back. And then I'm going to come from over here, about where the mustache is, and I'm going to bring a little line that comes out this way. And then I'm going to curve it back into the beard. And then I'm going to bring a little J hook on here like that. And I'm going to just leave it. I want some space between here and my beard, though. Okay, so this is going to be the other hand, but we're going to put a thumb on this and a thumb on that, but we're going to do that later. That's detail work. We're saving that for the end. All right, let's start changing things. Now we can start doing some of the detail work. So I'm going to put a couple of wrinkles on this hat. I'm going to come up a ways and bring that in. Then I'm going to come inside this line that I drew initially, and I'm going to put another wrinkle on it. And whatever I did on that side, I'm going to come over here and do the other side and kind of point it towards each other. Okay. I'm going to come inside again, and I'm going to bring this over and make a little S curve right here. I'll bring that up close so you can see it. Now, see where my edge of my line is? It's over here. I'm inside of it, and I made that little S hook right there. So now I'm going to come over here and erase where that original line was, so I don't want it in there anymore. So clean that off of there. I'm trying to make the hat a little more narrow as it goes up. Okay, so where this comes up and leans over, I'm going to make it just a little bit longer, kind of flatten it across the top, and then bring it to the inside of that old line. See where my old line is? I'm bringing it just to the inside and bringing it down to where that wrinkle was. Trimming it up just a little bit so it's not too wide or too tall. Now, do I need to slow down? Raise your hand if you need a little catch-up time. Okay, I'll shut up and slow down. I'll just give you guys a few seconds to get caught up here. I'll probably look like this after I retire. I'll just grow a big old white beard. And instead of what we're going to put in his hand, I'll have a fishing pole. All right, now I'm going to take this right here where I came over here, and I'm going to curve it up slightly at the end, so a slight curve, and now I'm going to bring this just right back to the hat. So what I've done is put a little point on there is all I've done. I'm just going to clean that up. Look, there's too many lines on there for me. I'm just going to clean it up. Little point, get rid of my old line that's over here. Just cleaning everything up. Because I drew it light, it all erases really nice and goes away. That's what we like. Then I'm going to draw a light circle partly on that point. It goes around just like that. And later I'm going to come back in and make that look more fluffy. But right now I just need a circle on it. Let's jump down to our hands. Does anybody need a second to finish up the hat before I jump? All right, we're jumping down the hands. I'm going to erase part of the beard right here. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put a little thumb on here. Here is our main part of our hand, and I'm just going to put a little oval right there. So like that. That's his thumb. He's wearing mittens. We don't have to be very detailed. Over here, I've already got a light spot. I'm just going to come right here and curve a J-hook back to where the wrist goes, and there's that mitten on that side. That hand's open, this hand is closed. Now it's time to start putting some texture on here. So we're going to do kind of like our zigzag lines, and we're not going to do a lot of these. These will be just a few. I'm going to zoom way in so you can see what I'm doing. Following the edge of the beard, come back up, make it like a little check mark, go down, make another little check mark, go behind the thumb, come down here, make another little check mark, but I'm following the contour of my beard. And I go down. So it's like a big lightning zigzag line. Hopefully everybody follows that. Now where we've run into some problems is you either drop backwards, which I can't quite figure out how you're pulling that out, or we start going up this side and you start, instead of going down, you start going up with them. So we need to start up here and go down, not up with our beard. What I mean here is I don't want my beard coming down here like this, which is good, but I don't want it to go up like this, going up that side, okay? So, I come over here, do the same thing I did on the other side. 1, 2, go behind my thumb, 3, 4, 5, and then just connect it up at the bottom. That's all I'm doing. The old line that we had in there that we drew really light, hopefully you did. Let's go erase it out, clean it up so it has a nice little white beard. It doesn't have a double line going around it. Are you with me so far? I hope. Is everybody good? Anybody need a second? Because I know the beard hair kind of messes stuff up sometimes. All right, I'll wait a second. Because that beard hair messes stuff up so much, I think I'm just going to leave this a circle up here on the ball up here, and I don't think I'm going to come in here and change anything else on the hair. What I am going to do is challenge you right now. I'm going to have you draw kind of a straight pole. We'll see how good your freehand skills are. So I'm going to start, I want to start inside the hand, not clear down here by the thumb, but inside the hand. I'm going to bring a straight line coming up, just a little higher than where the fluff around his hat is, where that trim around his hat is. So draw it kind of light until we get it just like we want it. Then I'm going to pretend to go behind and then bring it down. That's right there in front of his boot. Now if you get it at a slight angle and it goes in front of his toe, that's fine. Just erase where the toe is so it doesn't conflict with it. Then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do a little parallel line. Come down here, parallel line. Okay, now I got a little pole sticking up. Try to make sure you're not getting a lot wider here and a lot wider here than you are here, because we're not trying to draw something that looks like this, or it will be kind of strange. Okay, we're not putting a propeller or something in his hand. These need to be pretty dang straight all the way down. Okay, so good luck. On the bottom here, down by his toe, put a little curved line to finish it off. And right now it looks like he's holding a stick. And then we're going to put a U shape right here, just like that. And then we're going to follow that on around. Try to keep it about the same width all the way around. And I am turning my paper as I do this instead of just trying to draw it. I'm drawing it light to try to make sure I keep it about the same width going all the way around, and then a curved line at the end. So now that I see it's kind of where I want it, now I'll come back and darken my line because it's pretty much where I wanted it to be. I'll darken my lines coming down because they're where I want those to be. I'm not going to change anything about that. So now he's got like a little cane. And I'm just going to take, see how we have this shoulder coming out from here? I'm just going to bring one here, and it comes out and disappears behind the cane. That's why we had to draw the cane first, because it overlaps. The cane overlaps where the arm is. Now, yes, you could get technical and make it look like fingers and stuff in there, but we don't really need to because he's wearing mittens. We're going to jump down to the feet down here, and we're going to put the sole on these boots. And to do that, I'm going to put a little line right there and a little line right there, and then I'm just going to follow that around, parallel line, go back to that line, parallel line, coming back to that line. I'm going to stop for right now. Don't get that too thick, and don't have it touch the shoe. It's the front part of the sole. Got to have sole, but we'll see how you do with it. Don't make that harder than it has to be. Then, right where we stopped, we're going to start another line and go around to the back of the heel. And I'll go around back of the heel and do that right there. So now we have the sole on his heel too. And think in terms of sole. It's not going to be super thick. It's not going to be super thin. Just it should look like it fits on the shoe. Now I'm going to come up here on top of the nose. Does anybody need more time to finish that up before I come on top of the nose? All right, don't see anybody. Coming right in the middle of the nose, and I'm going to put a V shape that curves off this way towards the top of the hat, and a V shape that curves off this way. It's going up fairly tall. I want to get it quite a ways from the nose. I don't want to go close to the nose right here. I want to go up from the nose. And here's why. It's going to be a little eyebrow, and I'm going to come over here, go there, and go there. Connect that up. Go there, go there, go there. Connect that up. And you're not going to be able to see his little eyes. They're kind of covered up by his big bushy eyebrows. Okay, one last detail to put on this guy. I think it's one last detail. I'm double checking my reference, but I think it is. So now I'm going to come along and I'm going to put a curved line here and a curved line there, and then skip, curved line, curved line, curved line, here, curved line, curved line. I put a slight curve in it because it's going around a cylinder type shape. I'll come up here. It's going to change directions a little bit because we're coming around. Now he's got a candy cane in his hand. Okay, make sure you change directions as you come around the bend. Don't just sit there and try to do the same thing or get all messed up. Hopefully you had some success. Hopefully you got a fuzzy little guy with 2 little legs and feet and 2 hands and a big old hat, which in the end is all we're trying to create. Hopefully we got him. All right, now let's go for the actual Santa Claus. We're going to do Santa a little bit bigger. We're going to do Santa Claus just a little bit bigger than what we did our gnome, because gnomes are little short things anyway, so we're going to do our Santa Claus quite a bit bigger. So we're going to start with a circle. We're coming down from the top because we always got to leave room for the hat. So we're going to start with a circle about the same size as the one we did before. Remember to keep it fairly light, because of course we're working with a lot of white, so we've got to be able to erase it. And it does, like I say, it doesn't have to be a perfect circle, just mostly a circle, because most of it we're going to erase anyway. So as long as it's kind of close, we're in pretty good shape. Now this one's going to have a much different shape put on it. I'm going to come out. Does anybody need more time with that circle? I know some of you fight that circle, so we'll go ahead and give you a second before we try to put this next part on. This one's beard is going to be a little different than the last one, because we don't want them to be exactly the same. I'm not trying to teach the same exact thing over and over, but there are similarities. All right, so for the beard on this one, we're going to come about halfway up, and I'm going to come out on both sides, just like that, kind of like I did before, but on this one, I'm going to turn it upside down. I'm going to come around Around, around. Keep this fairly light because we will change it up a little bit. Coming around, 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 around. And I have my beard drawn. Okay. Instead of a point on this one, we're doing kind of, it's almost like an egg shape coming around. And then we're going to put a big egg shape on it here in just a second. So we're going to repeat that shape one more time. In art, I think I've talked about this before, it's called repetition in design, where you have a similar shape. It can change in size, but the shape will be similar. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to come along that edge again, and I'm going to come out here, and I'm going to come out from it just like I came out from the circle. I'm going to come out from the beard. I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. Coming out a ways. Now I'm going to round it off and bring it together. Okay, just like that. So we have the first one, now we have another one. This one's quite a bit bigger. Okay. I'll start about the same place. Okay, we're just blocking things in again. Right now I look at that and I'm like, how is that going to be a Santa Claus? But it will be. And with all drawings, we just block in first and then come in and do details last. Does anybody know why you block in first and do details last? Anybody have a guess why we do that? What would happen if I did details first without blocking stuff in? It'd make it harder, and the reason... Your what would be off? Yeah. So Josh says your lines would be off. That's exactly what happens. A lot of times we might have the head too small, or the beard too big, or the body too skinny. Well, if we're doing details first, then we're stuck with whatever it is we drew. But if we block it in first, we can look at it first and go, oh, I want this wider, or I want it skinny. And it's easy to replace just a single line as opposed to a whole bunch of details on it. So that's why, whether we're drawing something as simple as a cartoon Santa, or if you were doing a realistic Santa, like a photograph kind of realistic, you still block in to start with simple shapes. All right, with that said, we're going to come down here, and I'm going to bring a line that goes across about where the bottom of this is, and I'm going to leave a little space, and I'm going to bring that line out past the edge, just a little bit past the edge on either side of where the body's going to go. So you see how my line goes out to here and to here, just a little ways past? Try to get that up there so you can see it. Maybe I'll make it a little darker so you can see it. The most important part of that is that little part that goes out beyond. What the heck? Okay, we're back. Okay, now we're going to come around that little spot just like this and just like this, kind of like a little smile coming around it. Okay, this looks like a little set of parentheses, like we just made a big smile and we got the little corners of the mouth right there, but this is not touching that. This is not touching that. Okay, I'm going to turn it sideways. I'm going to zoom it in so you can see my sideways smile. And then I'm going to come across here and connect this up. But I want it to blend in with the point of this and come back up to that. So I'm coming along, I'm blending it right into where I've already drawn, come along back over the other side and bring it up to the bottom of that line. Okay. Now it's kind of a strange looking thing, but all we did was blend from that bottom edge along the bottom and connected with that bottom edge. And because we kept our lines light, when we go to erase it now on the inside, it goes away. But if we drew our lines dark, it doesn't go anywhere. Okay? And so it has a slightly larger, wider spot in the middle and a slightly more narrow as it gets out, but it's still thick all the way through. This is actually the bottom edge of the fringe or the fluff on the bottom of his jacket. Okay? Like I say, we're blocking things in. I had to draw that first because I need to put feet on this guy and I need to know where they're going to go. So we got this low spot right here, and I'm going to put a line right here, a little short line, and a little short line, equal distance from the middle, right here. Okay, it's not a very long line. So if I turn it upside down, it looked like Rudolph with two little antennas on top of his head, with a hat. Yeah, it looks like an acorn with two antennas too. It could be all kinds of things. I could put puppy dog ears on it and make it look like a dog too, with a really big nose. So here's the most important part of this. Wherever we put this next line, we need to have it be fairly close to the same width on both sides. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to come up. I start off up here and curve it slightly in because you got to think in terms of legs here, okay? Your legs curve a little bit. So I want these to be about the same size. If one's skinny and one's really fat, or one has a straight line and the other one has a curved line, we're trying to just make mirror images, reverse images of each other. That's all we're trying to do here. Shoes on this one will be easier than our last one, by the way. Now we're just going to curve the bottom of that, one to the other. It's the bottom of his pant leg there, one to the other. Now he's got two little fat legs standing there. And you got to think in terms of, okay, this is my character. He needs stocky, fairly fat legs to keep him standing up. If you put little chicken legs on there, little birdie legs, he's going to go like this. Bloop, he's going to fall right over because he can't stand on his own two legs. So make sure he's got some fairly stocky legs. Now the nice part. Here's all your boots going to be on this one. We're going to come right out of here, curve it around, and bring it back. That's all we're going to do. So it's like the Coke C. It's got the long tail, and we just connect it back up. Whatever we do on one side, we're going to do the same thing on the other, but I'm going to go lighter because I want to make sure I get it about the same size. I don't want it to get twice the size of the other one. So I'm not going to draw a very dark line to start with. I'm looking at it going, okay, is that fairly close? It looks like it's fairly close. Might not be to the last micrometer, but it's going to be close. I just don't want one foot twice the size of the other foot. Okay, so now he's got two fairly close sized feet. Looks like this one might be slightly taller from here to here than that one. That's bugging me a little, so I shouldn't have probably drawn the line so dark. Made my own mistake, telling you guys not to do it, and then I went and did it. But we'll erase it out. And we'll have a little bit of a line there because we didn't draw our line light that time. So that's why we draw light, so we don't make mistakes like that. Okay, now it's closer. Okay, we're going to do some horizontal lines that are going to be parallel to each other. Who needs more time? Do I need to just pause here for a second? Okay, well, for a second. If you raised your hand, then give me a thumbs up, and then I'll know when to move on. Okay? Just waiting to see the thumb, and then I'll go. Stay with me, Josh. Don't die. All right. We're going to come above this line or to the right of it because I got it turned sideways, and I'm going to make a parallel line that goes from this edge to this edge. Nice curve. On a curve, we're going around a big fat belly. Then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put another one above it. Okay, what is that going to be? Anybody know? This is the fringe on the bottom. What's this thing going to be? Yeah, he wears his underwear on the outside. You're a weirdo. Okay, so this is his belt. Right here in the middle, we're going to put two lines that are longer than the belt. Just like that are parallel. They go past the top and past the bottom slightly. Okay. You're like, I'm not a weirdo. Superman wears his underwear on the outside, and so does Batman. Well. Okay, then I'm going to connect these two. I'm going to make this big rectangle is what I'm doing. Okay, so after I've got my rectangle drawn, it can be a square too, that's fine. I'm going to erase out the lines inside of it because it's not quite the way I want them. I just want to get rid of the belt on the inside. Then I'm going to do a parallel line inside of it. Be a little smaller rectangle. And I'll put a little oval right there. And we done put a belt on him. Okay, that's his buckle right in the middle. I think tomorrow we'll also spend a little time adding color to these because they're way more fun in color than they are in black and white. We're almost to cleanup time. We're not going to finish him. So I'm going to come about where the middle of my beard is. I'm going to come and put a line straight down, skip across the buckle and the belt, and bring a line coming straight down here. And then one that kind of curves on this last one. I'm going to slightly curve it on when it comes across the trim. Then I'm going to put a parallel line, one to the left of it. Skip the buckle and stop when I get to the trim. Come over here, parallel line, stop when I get to the trim. This is the center trim on his coat. We don't put a line here and a line here because all we need is a separation. It's like if there was a zipper or a way to connect it. You don't put it over that. There's already trim there. You don't put trim on trim, okay? You gotta think a little bit. Let's go to the top of his head, and we're going to put a couple of last lines on there. We're going to clean up here in a second. So where the beard comes out here, we're going to put two little ears, one right here, and one right here, okay, two little ears. Then I know where I start my trim. So I'm going to come from where the ear, top of the ear touches the side of the head and put a curved line that comes over here to that side. It goes to the top of the ears. You don't put your trim at the bottom of the ears because that would look weird, okay? I'm just going to put a little parallel line inside of his ear on both of those. I got one ear bigger than the other ear. Okay. Well, I'll make that one a little bit bigger because it bugs me. Now they're closer. All right, then I'm going to put another parallel line that comes across the top of that one that I just drew. That, and then I'm going to come from behind the ear and connect it up and connect it up. And I'm doing that slightly curved. I'm not going like a straight edge. I'm not going like straight. I'm slightly curving it up, and that is the trim that goes around the bottom of his hat. So now I can erase out where that circle was, just like we did on our other character. Make it go away. And I'm going to give you a quick little preview. This is what we're shooting for. This little dude here is what we're going to draw. He's going to look really cool when he's done. Okay? So it'll be a cute little bugger. But right now, we just got him blocked in. With that said, now is a good time to clean up. We'll see you tomorrow.